when I'm doing sexual harassment, sexual assault investigations, I'm asking some very, very sensitive and difficult questions. And it's about how your managers are able to ask those questions, but also how do you deal with it on a day-to-day basis when you're asking potentially people to be witnesses against their own peers. I have many, many cases where we're asking somebody to give evidence against friends or against their own boss. How does a manager deal with it? How do they make the witness feel comfortable to be able to give that? And so, for example, often it's one person's word against another. So how do you weigh and assess the evidence? Your managers need to be trained on how to assess evidence when it's one person's word against another. It isn't necessarily one of those where you've got lots of, you might, if you're lucky, have, documentary evidence, WhatsApps, emails, but a lot of the time it is two people in person. A lot of the time that I've dealt with sexual harassment and assault investigations, the two people might have started off in a relationship. So you can get a situation where it was consensual and then it became non-consensual. And that's very tricky for untrained managers to be able to assess where the line drew and where it became non-consensual.
We provide that kind of human side of the training when it comes to how do you interview people, but not just that. How do you manage the case? How do you manage your own boundaries? Conflict resolution, like that. This is such a human story, and being able to do the human bit really well, having those skills in house, that's not only going to reassure you that when you come to a decision, you've come to a decision that's based on something that's quite solid, because you've done a great job of those interviews. But also it's about keeping that culture intact and maintaining those messages of, we can be responsible here about this really difficult topic